All is quiet in the world. All is fine. Maybe a few raindrops dripping on the leaves above. Even a cool breeze gives your platoon a brief respite from the horrible heat. Everyone's relaxed, cracking jokes even. But then, the trees start speaking Vietnamese! What's going on, gamers? It's your boy, Daily Tactics here, back with some more totally accurate battle simulator. The custom unit creator update has really renewed my love for tabs. It's just so good, and today we're doing something awesome. The Vietnam War. Easily one of the most interesting wars in human history, in my opinion. It's so crazy, from its longevity to the insane things that happened during it to, master states playing puppets with smaller countries. It's absolutely insane. Meanwhile, it's at the height of the Cold War. In fact, it just lasts throughout like tons of the Cold War. This is like such a long war. It's insane. Vietnam is crazy interesting. In my undergrad studies, freshman year, actually, I took an entire course on the Vietnam War taught by an expert in his field. It was a really, really cool experience that I'm glad I got to do, because they only offer it every once in a while. But either way, I made some Vietnam War troopers in totally accurate battle simulators. So over here we have the US Grunts. There are small troopers with dual wield M1911s. There are larger troopers with M16s. Then there are some M14 troopers as well. And to top it all off, we've got some big chunky 50 cal boys for the US Army. Then for the Vietcong, we have ourselves some AK-74Us, some AK-47 troopers, some PPSH troopers, as well as some MG-42 troopers, because a lot of World War II surplus weapons were used by the Vietcong, because it was difficult to get your hands on new modern weapons. Even Soviet weapons, which were readily aided to the Vietcong, could sometimes be hard to come by. So guys, without further ado, we're going to do some awesome battles with these new Vietnamese factions here. We've even got the Vietcong up in the trees. It's going to be beautiful. Let's get it going. Alright, here we go, boys. Obviously, there isn't a good Vietnam map, so instead we're doing a bit of like a northern jungle map. It's called a forest. This ain't a jungle. But we have a mass amount of US troopers bursting into the jungle, and all throughout the trees here, going all the way back, there are Viet Cong fighting within the trees. Very, very cool. I'm super excited to see who ends up winning this. Obviously, the US is going to come out strong in the beginning because there's going to be less Vietnamese resistance, but much like the war in Vietnam itself, this is going to be a battle of attrition to see if the Viet Cong can whittle down the US forces enough that they decide, we don't really want to fight this war anymore, or to just complete an utter capitulation by these fellas, because obviously it's tabs, and these guys can't give up. They're gonna fight till they die. It's a dark truth. These poor fellers, these poor fellers. But either way, they are marching on forward here, hoofing it, humping it. If you guys ever read the book The Things They Carried, one of the best war books of all time, amazing book. They were always talking about humping it in the Vietnam War, and that's when you like lug your stuff. It's when you lug your stuff as a soldier. Humping it. It's just such a fun term. It's a great book. Genuinely one of my favorite books of all time. I highly recommend you check it out if you've never read it. Either way, the US soldiers are really blitzing on through these woods here. The Vietnamese are in fact whittling them down bit by bit, but I mean, the US is a pretty powerful fighting force right now, I have to say. Even the MG-42s are having trouble stopping them, and they have the worst kickback of all time. Those guns must be powerful. I did get a few comments actually in the last video when I was using the MG-42 pretty liberally in that MG-42 video, so of course I was using it liberally. It was a video dedicated to the gun, but people were saying that if I made them into what are those called? The halfling style troopers. They're actually better against recoil, but still with the MG42, I was still getting mad recoil with the halflings. It was weird. So, I don't know. That gun is like broken. Not to mention it's a shotgun when it's supposed to be a heavy machine gun. It's such a bizarre weapon in this game. It's so weird and so unbalanced. Like, why couldn't they make it the same as the 50 cal for the US? I don't know. If they had set it up that way, I feel like it would have been better. Oh my god, we have a whole platoon over here. Oh, squadron. Look at these boys. Look at these dudes. This actually looks sick. Holy cow, that's a great screenshot. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, that is a beautiful screenshot right there. And we actually do have a United States victory for the first battle here. Quite the slaughter for both sides, but it seems like the U.S. troopers actually sticking together resulted in them managing to get a nice little dubski out of this thing. Seize the day, but there will be plenty more battles, so let's get another one going here. Okay, guys, I know this map is not the right part of Asia. This is not a Vietnamese temple here, but you know what? It's like the only Asian map, basically, in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. So I thought we'd go ahead and do it anyway, just to, at the very least, try and be in, like, at least the right part of the world instead of being in, like, a Canadian tundra like we were before. So, either way, we have the Vietcong versus the US here. Let's begin! Woo! Okay, so, I mean, it's a bombastic start with these battles. I have gotten a little bit better at the troop creation. It's kind of hard to judge how powerful to make each soldier when they're going to be fighting against each other, and then it's also hard to know how powerful the guns are just in general, because you can change the damage of the guns, but then you don't know what the base damage of that gun will actually be, or like its fire rate and things like that, so you kind of have to figure those things out, and it can be a little bit tricky, but I feel like I'm getting better and better at it with every unit that I end up creating here, and we're starting to get more and more sort of balanced units in these battles, which is a good thing in my opinion. I really like to make sure these battles are as balanced as possible, or else they're just not as fun to watch. IMHO, you know? In my honest opinion. Oh, I'm just so hip with the slang, boys. So unbelievably hip. Either way, the U.S. Army is doing pretty decently here. They're very bunched together, very similar to the last battle. The Viet Cong seem to be a little bit more spread out than them. Mostly AK-47 troopers left alive because that is the more powerful Viet Cong unit. The PPSH troopers as well as the AK-47U, sorry, AK-74U. Those troopers aren't nearly as good as the AK-47 troopers, so they tend to die first. The U.S. Army, the M1911 troopers are sort of that variation of trooper for them. We still do have some MG42s for the Viet Cong as well. Well, that guy didn't flail when he shot, unless he didn't shoot. I couldn't tell. Wait, let's watch this guy shoot. Maybe he will flail. Who knows? With these fellas, usually they do. Usually the kick is just too much. How'd the right side go? Ooh, not good. Okay, what is going on? The Vietnamese, dude. They're not as good. Well, my man went down somewhere. Oh, there he is. What's up, dude? Oh, he did. Alright, let's try that again and give the Viet Cong a few more troopers, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they had more than the Americans to start, but I think the American weaponry is just better. And that makes sense. I mean, the U.S. losses were, what, 54,000 troopers? Something like that in the total of the war? I can't remember the exact number, but in the 50,000s. Meanwhile, the Vietnamese lost like 4 million, but I think that includes civilians as well. So, it's crazy. All right. Let's try it again. We added some more troopers for the Viet Cong here. We'll see if they manage to get the Kapuya on these guys this time around. Let's check it out. Yeah, there's something weird with the gunshots where if there's too many guns on the battlefield, you only hear like a few of them. Really not nearly as much. I think some audio work needs to honestly be done on the game with this latest update to ensure that all the gun sounds can be heard and things like that. But it might just be too much for the audio engine. Okay, I might have overdone it with the Viet Cong this time because the Americans did not do very well. They did not do very well at all. All right, what I think we should do now is we should test the validity of each tier of trooper on these guys and see just how good they are. Alright guys, we're going to be doing some 30v30 battles here. First we have the PPSH versus the M1911, both the same tier of weapon basically for each other. The weakest of the weak, the grunts basically of the war, and we'll see which faction has the better grunt here. We got the old-fashioned World War II Russian weapon versus the, you know, M1911, another World War II weapon, but still in service. I mean, the M1911 was in service for decades in the U.S. Army. It's kind of crazy, actually. Like, really, really long times with that gun. Either way, both weapons don't really have the best damage, but you can see that the PPSH is actually outgunning the M1911 by so much because that rapid fire just kept pushing them back, so the M1911 troopers couldn't get shots off. So actually, not a single Vietcong died right there. Wow! Okay, so now we're going to have the M14 versus the AK-74U, the next tier of a weapon for both sides here. Basically, like, you know, not quite expendable like the grunt tier, but basically just the backbone of the army. All right, let's go ahead and press start here. Looks like AK-74U troopers do get the first shots off, but the M14 troopers do manage to clap back pretty quickly here. And this time around, the M14 packs a meaner punch. An absolutely meaner punch. It did seem like the AK-74U did get more bullets out faster, but the M14 managed to just sort of wipe them out. So, you know, it sort of shows how one side might win one level, but the next side wins the next level. And I think the U.S. kind of goes for quality over quantity. While the Viet Cong tend to go for guerrilla tactics, you know, quantity, and, you know, basically the U.S. in the actual war itself was superior in terms of a military. However, it's, you know, hearts and minds and all that stuff is what led to their defeat. So let's go on to the next round. All right, guys, M16 versus, you know it, the AK-47. Bada bing! Is it true that the AK-47 is the most... Oh my god, that didn't last long at all. Wait, let's roll it again. Is it true that the AK-47 is the most used weapon in history? I do kind of wonder that, you know, because that's the rumor going around, but I don't know if it's true. I mean, there's a lot of guns out there that get used a lot, but I guess the AK-47 is definitely the most iconic, you know? It's sort of synonymous with, you know, the communist side of the Cold War and stuff like that. However, I always thought it'd go to like a pistol, you know? I feel like service pistols for, you know, police officers or something like that would really be the one, but I guess the AK-47 was used in so many wars for so many different sides. Meanwhile, a service pistol might only be a service pistol for certain countries and stuff. I don't know. Can someone let me know what the most used gun is in the world? I'm curious. Either way, bye-bye, America. The Viet Cong actually managed to win that one. All right, this time we have the 50 cal versus MG42, and jeez, the MG42 just caused a lot of lag. Holy cow. Both sides just chaos. The blues won. Wow, wait, let's roll that again. I want to see that again. So, I mean, at this rate, the Vietnamese have won 3 out of the 4 battles. In all honesty, they basically won this thing. However, in every other pitched battle, even when the Vietnamese outnumber the U.S. by just a ton, the U.S. manages to win. So I'm wondering if the U.S. M14 is really that powerful, or if it has to do with the fact that, like, you know, a lot of these guns are only good at range, and this is a very close range setting, or, you know, what's going on here? How come the Vietnamese are winning so much here? And I think there could be a number of factors, but either way, let's do a quick little 4v4 in this. Basically every gun from both sides fighting each other. Well, those poor M1911 troopers, I didn't mean to put them up against the MG42, but that's exactly what happened. Yeah, the U.S. wins, and they... What? What? Maybe my matchups weren't actually accurate. Maybe I should have put different Vietnamese troopers against different American troopers. I don't even know, dude. I'm so perplexed by how this happens, but okay. Well, I guess the U.S. did end up winning and managed to seize the day here. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is going to be the end of the video. Let me know if you want to see more of these Vietnamese war troopers in the future. I'd be curious if you would. I'd probably do some more of this. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace! I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.